Have you ever wondered why your boyfriend's female coworkers all have your phone number? I thought it was sweet when Carlos's coworkers started inviting me to their book club, then yoga classes, then wine nights. These women barely knew me but were suddenly my best friends. Carlos worked at a tech startup with mostly female developers. Within weeks of dating him, I had 7 new contacts in my phone from his office. Lisa, Jenny, Sarah, Kate, Emma, Mia, and Rebecca, all wanting to hang out constantly. At first, I loved it. Finally, a boyfriend whose friends actually liked me and wanted me around. My ex's friends had barely tolerated me, always making me feel like an outsider at parties. But something felt increasingly weird about their questions. Lisa would ask what Carlos liked for breakfast. Jenny wanted to know his favorite movies, his comfort foods, even what cologne he wore and what scents he preferred. Sarah asked about his childhood fears during what was supposed to be a casual coffee chat, then immediately typed something into her phone notes. They knew absolutely nothing about Carlos despite working with him daily, but were completely obsessed with learning everything about him through me. I figured they were just really thorough friends who cared about getting to know their coworker better. The group chats were relentless. Does Carlos like hiking, or is he more of an indoor person? What's his love language? Has he ever mentioned wanting kids someday? I genuinely thought they were planning some elaborate office surprise party or secret Santa situation. Then I started noticing Carlos never mentioned any of these women. When I'd bring up my lunch with Lisa or movie night with Jenny, he'd look genuinely confused and quickly change the subject. He claimed he barely talked to anyone at work beyond basic project stuff. I started paying closer attention during our hangouts. At the bookstore, Lisa would mysteriously linger by the exact sections Carlos had mentioned liking, sci-fi, and history. During yoga class, Sarah would ask if I thought Carlos would enjoy this type of exercise, taking mental notes when I said he preferred rock climbing. It felt like they were conducting research on him through me. The breaking point came last Friday. I was having drinks with Jenny at this trendy rooftop bar when she let something major slip. She mentioned how hard it must be dating someone with Carlos's condition, and how incredibly sweet and understanding it was that I was so patient with his social limitations. What condition? What social limitations? Jenny's face went completely pale, like she'd just realized she'd said something terrible. She started stammering something vague about his social anxiety and suddenly bolted to the bathroom. When she came back 15 minutes later, she made some obviously fake excuse about a family emergency and practically ran out of the bar. I sat there alone for 20 minutes, replaying every single conversation I'd had with these women over the past 3 months. When I got home, I found Carlos sitting on our couch with this weird, guilty expression I'd never seen before. Before I could even open my mouth to ask about my conversation with Jenny, he started talking in this rushed, nervous way. He told me he had severe social anxiety around women and literally couldn't have normal conversations with his female coworkers beyond basic work interactions. They'd been trying to be friendly with him for months, inviting him to lunch and coffee, but he'd freeze up completely and give one-word answers. So he'd come up with what he thought was a harmless solution to help everyone. He told them I was his sister who lived with him temporarily and could help them get to know him better as a friend. He said I was naturally outgoing and social, and would absolutely love to hang out with them and bridge the gap. It was all because these women had massive crushes on my boyfriend and thought they were strategically befriending his sister to get closer to him. For 3 months, I'd been unknowingly playing matchmaker between my boyfriend and 7 women who wanted to date him. And the worst part? Carlos said he'd been planning to tell them the truth eventually, but they all seemed so genuinely happy being friends with me that he didn't want to ruin the relationships I'd built. I asked him point blank if any of them had made actual moves on him, using the personal information I'd shared. His long silence and inability to meet my eyes told me absolutely everything I needed to know.